Welcome to another Elmer Time with AD7LN. Today we're going to get into a little bit about shortwave portable radios and how manufacturers have to compromise on the manufacturing, and sometimes that hinders the performance of these radios, even the newer ones. However, the newer ones are getting better, and the compromises are less, but they are still there. And I'll get into that. And we'll get into some audio. And yeah, let's go from there. So, if we were to start off from last video where I gave you a checklist to find the best portable shortwave radio. Now I'm going to tell you that all portable shortwave radios are made through compromise, and you will not find what you would call the best portable shortwave radio out there, because they all have something to one degree or the other where there's something that just isn't as good as the next radio. One shortwave radio may have great local AM, FM broadcast receive, but it's deaf on shortwave, and you can hardly hear anything. Other shortwave radios, it's the opposite. They're great on shortwave, and you can barely hear any local stations on AM. Or the FM band is just trash and the stations all run together, and you're hearing a local AM station coming in over your local FM station. It could be the automatic gain control is not good on sideband, if the shortwave radio has sideband. It could be something that almost all portables have that is a compromise, especially in the smaller ones, and that's the speaker. The smaller the shortwave radio is, obviously the smaller the speaker. And when you get into the smaller speakers, the tone of that speaker goes up in pitch, and you lose a lot of mid-range to low. And generally speaking, if you're a shortwave enthusiast like I am, you'll find that if you're trying to tune around and listen to international broadcast stations and listen to the talk, listen to ham radio operators, which is talk, you want that mid-range down to a little bit of low. You don't need super bass, but you need a little bit of low tones and some higher mid-range. You don't need super high mid-range. You don't need something where a piezo tweeter comes into play. So, shortwave portables compromise manufacturing all the time, including some electronics that prevent the radio from self-destruction. We'll get into that in a minute. But for right now, let's talk a little bit about the audio portion. And if you have purchased a radio through that checklist, it turns out to be a smaller radio, yeah, it's going to be a great radio for receive, great sensitivity, great selectivity. It'll have sideband. You're hearing all the stations you want to hear. That is, if you connect a wire up to the antenna for shortwave. That's pretty much a mandatory event. However, if the radio is small, for instance, one of these, great radio, great selectivity, extremely sensitive receive, Except the speaker here is only that big. What do? You're going to hear high tones. You're not going to hear a full range of mid-range or any bass at all. Here's another one. Very popular. Great DSP design, just like the first one I just showed you. Small speaker. Some of the original ones that came out with DSP, a little bit bigger radio, but still tiny speaker, same process. You're going to get a lot of high tones. There's ways around it. First off, just try using your headphones. You may get a wider range of audio that way. If those headphones don't work, try some music style headphones. Just some cheap music style headphones. See how those go. Experiment a little bit. What you want is a wider range of audio so that you can hear all the tones that are being transmitted. These smaller radios aren't just going to give you that sound through that speaker. And you'll increase your what you want to hear. It'll be more pleasant for you to hear. You can even go towards, if you're not a person that likes headphones, which I'm kind of on and off the fence about that, about headphones, try an external speaker. You know, you've got the old style external speakers from way back when for mobile operations. This one looks like it was for Citizens Band, but it'll work on any of these small portable radios. The impedance may not match, but all you have to do is just turn the volume up a little bit and see how it goes. You know, try it. If you don't like the sound, try a different speaker. There's so many different kinds of speakers you can try. Here's a non-amplified bookshelf speaker. It has a 5-inch speaker inside with, I think, a tweeter on there as well. But that large mid-range speaker here will give you a wide, full sound when plugged into a portable shortwave radio. And you may find it more pleasing to hear and to listen to for longer lengths of time. Here's a portable speaker system that I made, but for a different purpose. Large speaker, however this does have a piezo tweeter. This was designed for listening to ELF, VLF radio, so that piezo tweeter comes in handy for that. But really, if the difference, just by looking at the radio, you can tell small, tiny speaker, high-pitched sound. Here's an oldie, but it's a PLL circuit radio. See how large the speaker is on this? You're going to get a better sound out of it. Yes, it's an older radio. However, it makes up for it in great sound quality, and compared to the extreme performance these brand new radios provide. Sometimes sound quality, listening enjoyment is what you want for long periods of listening. Just depends on what you want to go for. So keep that in mind when you're using portable radios, portable shortwave radios. Now let's go to front-end protection. Many of these shortwave radios, especially the older models, in particular this model right here, this one is missing a circuit from the factory that should have been put in. And this is not the only one that's missing that circuit. In the front end of the radio, there is a circuit missing so that in the event it's a cold fall, winter day, You're walking around the house, you build up a static discharge on your body, you walk over and you grab the antenna to put an antenna wire on it, and a small spark will discharge from your body to this antenna. Not a big deal, you know, you do it when you grab door handles that are metal. But if you do it here on this antenna, what will happen is that small spark goes into the radio and into the front end to the first field effect transistor, and it blows out that transistor because this radio does not have a protection circuit in it. And many older shortwave portables do not have that protection circuit. And because it's a shortwave portable, you'd always want to touch the antenna and connect extra wire to it. Also, the extra wire that's outside could be a long length of wire, and an electrical storm could be passing over. That long wire can store electrical energy from that cloud that's passing over. And that electrical energy will be transferred to this radio. And if it's enough, it will just take out the field effect transistor again for this. Many shortwave radios of the past do not have this protection. And it's a very easy circuit that just about anybody can make and either add inside the radio or put it externally into a metal box. And it's really simple. Let's say that this is the antenna right here, and here's the radio's circuit board. Okay, and then of course all circuit boards inside the radio have a ground. There's the ground. And once again, you touch the antenna, spark goes right to the antenna input of that radio circuit. So how do we remedy that? Well, you can get two small signal diodes and reverse them directly onto the antenna line and then to the ground of the radio. Now you can use, as far as small signal diodes, you can use the one, let me write it down for you here. Sorry about that interruption, guys. Old camera, old battery. Got to get some new batteries for that thing. Okay, so I was going to write out the model number of the diodes. So, small signal diode, very popular. 1N4148 small signal diode, or you could also use a 1N5817. Oops, which help if I could spell correctly. The 1N5817 is a Schottky diode, but it's also a small signal. Works just as well. Either one will work great. The small circuit will take any small, quick discharge that's coming down the antenna line and put it straight to ground before it makes its way to the receiver. And it should be in every receiver. I don't know why it's not. It doesn't hinder the receive at all, and it keeps the receiver in good shape. Doesn't allow that impulse of electricity to hit the front end of the electronic circuit and blow the FET. Also, you could, if you don't want to get into the radio and install this, you could put this in a metal box, and it would be the same thing. Let's say this is a metal box right here. Completely enclosed metal box with, let's say, SO239 connectors on the ends here. And this lead would be the center conductor. Running across, the outside would be the ground. These two diodes would ground to the box. The box itself is metal, so it would be a ground. And if you wanted to, let's just say that this is the in and this is the out. This would be, let's just say that this is the receiver end. This is the antenna. You could also add another extra bit of comfort and protection to this if you wanted to. And right here, you could add a small capacitor. Say a 0.1 microfarad disc cap right here. That would add some extra protection as far as static discharge. You want to try to, if you can, ground this metal box to something metal. If the radio that you're using this with has a metal back, ground it to the metal back of the radio, or something that is ground inside the radio would be good. Now, the reason for keeping the diodes in an enclosed metal box is because these are signal diodes, and in the event of any strong RF signal within your vicinity, it is possible that these could pick up some of that signal and introduce it into the signal you're trying to receive elsewhere. And you're just going to get a big mix of hash noise. And yeah, keep the signal diodes in an enclosed metal case if it's going to be external from the radio, and it should work just fine. Make sure that it is grounded to the radio. The case is grounded to the radio as well, and it should be good. So with that, make sure it's just for receive only, and take it from there. Thanks for joining me with another Elmer Time. You have a great day. This is Jeffrey, Alpha Delta 7, Lima November. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.